Hello, and welcome to a new painting tutorial. Let's dive right in. We start by applying a thin coat of black primer to the entire miniature using an airbrush. This will help the acrylics stick better to the mini. Today, we're tackling Eldarion, Guardian of the Forest, the fearless leader of the elves from Elvenwood Grove. With matte brown, we tackle the base color for the skin, focusing first on the miniature's focal points, the face and the hair. Here's a time-saving tip. We will use the same matte brown for the hair since we're going for a natural brown look. It's crucial to ensure the base coat reaches every nook and cranny of our miniature. Mixing it up with a 50-50 blend of matte brown and salmon, we start shading in where the sunlight would naturally kiss the skin. Patience is your best friend in this step, as a smooth transition of colors can really elevate the quality of our mini. Next, with salmon, we highlight the peaks, cheeks, nose, and chin to bring out those radiant high points. On to the attire. We apply black-gray as the base color for the clothing, ensuring thorough coverage just as we did with the skin. Blending black-gray and dark blue-gray, we define the clothing's creases and lighter areas. These touches add depth and dimension. Finally, with dark blue-gray, we paint the highlights with the most illuminated spots, crisply defining the edges of the folds so they pop from across the gaming table. We now paint the shirt sleeves peeking out from under the armor in matte brown, setting the stage for further details. With flat earth, we begin accentuating the high parts of the arms, building up the midtones and brightness. By adding 50% khaki to our mix, we boost the lighting and punch up the contrast. Watch those details start to sing. For the armor, we lay down a base of dark bronze. Starting with the black undercoat here is a game changer for metallic paints, enhancing their luster without needing extra layers. We layer on Dorado over the bronze, bringing out a richer, more vivid golden sheen. Combining metallics like this can really maximize their impact. A wash of Agrax earthshade over the armor pulls the shadows back onto the crevices, adding a dynamic contrast. We then hit the highest details with a shiny gold to create stark contrasts and play up the realistic metallic effects. A few more layers of that light color will make sure that it really pops, because subtlety isn't in our vocabulary today. With a 50-50 mix of shiny gold and mystic white, we mark the brightest spots and add edge highlights to make the armor visually leap away from the rest of the objects. For the straps, we repeat the process used on the sleeves. Matte brown for the base, then midtones, and finally, khaki for the highlights. Let's go back to the hair now. We deepen the shadows with Agrax earthshade, setting the stage for some serious volume. With matte brown, we refine the strands, intentionally leaving the deepest parts untouched to enhance the hair's natural volume, which is a crucial focal point. Gradually mixing in brown skin, we adjust the highlighted areas to tailor the shade of brown, aiming for a striking contrast and sharp highlights. We apply military green as a base layer for the cape. A couple of layers ensure an even, solid color, smoothing out any undercoat peeking through. Adding 50% rocket green, we begin accentuating the fabric folds, enhancing the miniature's dynamic contours. With pure rocket green, now let's focus on the lighting, using short, directional brush strokes to mimic the fabric's texture. Antrhax metal coats the swords, setting a solid metallic foundation. Quicksilver defines the blade's sharp edges, giving them a dangerous gleam. For the statue, initially layered with barrel gray, we now mix in Coyote brown to start sculpting the light's effects. Amplifying with pure Coyote brown, we dot rather than stroke to mimic a rocky texture, just a little technique to keep things interesting. Gradually blending in Sanstorm, we lighten the rock, focusing brightness on the upper reaches to mimic natural lighting. A Biel tan green shade adds a mossy effect to the crevices, enriching our scene with a touch of the wild. Using a dry brush, we now tackle the base's surface with black-gray. It's a slow process, but by keeping our brush light, we build up the perfect intensity of light. Dark blue-gray further enhances the base edges, also applied by dry brushing to keep the texture consistent. Rocket green now breathes life into the base's grass, adding another layer of color and texture. Quicksilver on the metal plates juxtaposes brilliantly against the stone, creating a delightful texture play and breaking up the monotony. Finally, we dab the gems with scarlet blood, for the ultimate pop of color that brings the whole base to life. And that's a wrap! As you can see, transforming your minis into a masterpiece is all about smart color planning, structured steps, and a dash of patience. Thanks so much for tuning in, don't forget to like the video, and we'll see you in the next painting tutorial.